Hey guys, it's Bees. On October 25th, at least in the United States, the pre-patch to for Dragonflight will hit, and not only will it add the new UI, which I went over before, but it also is going to add the new talent system. As you can see, I'm on the PTR on a level 60, my level 60 character. So I would log in and have this new talent system. But what's interesting, during the pre-patch, we'll have that new talent system on top of our covenant system from Shadowlands. So the covenants, the spells you get, your soulbinds, your conduits, and your legendary abilities will all work at the same time. The only thing that's going away is your tier set, which is kind of sad. The tier sets will turn off come the pre-patch, but in this month of pre-patch between now and when Dragonflight launches, you can have both the Shadowlands stuff, the Covenants, and the Legendaries, plus the new talent system together. So for this month, we can make some really nutty combos. So I'm going to focus on three specs: Holy Priest, Resto Shaman, and Resto Druid. I'm just going to cover those three because they're the ones I know the most. And if I cover more than that, this video will just probably just be way too long. So with Holy Priest first, there is mind games on the talent tree, so we could have mind games plus another covenant spell. Say if we were Kyrian, you could have boon and mind games at the same time. But I don't think mind games is good enough for a Holy Priest to take. So in the talent tree, I just think the only interesting choice, capstone, to take is Power Word Life. Sadly, at level 60, we can only take one capstone. Once we hit level 70 in Dragonflight, you have enough talent points to take another one. So we just have to, in the pre-patch, pick the capstone that we think is the best. I think Power Word Life is the best one. Gives us an instant cast heal that heals for more if they're at lower health. Just another great heal to have. And then going along the way, we can pick up Surge of Light, Binding Heals, which are all pretty good talents to have. Now this is the more 5-man build, so I got Shadow Word Death, and the buff to Shadow Word Death, and over here on the holy side, I take Imperial Blaze so we can do some pretty good DPS in 5-man dungeons. So, in a 5-man dungeon, I just decided to not take Prayer of Healing or Holy Word Sanctify because we don't really cast them a lot in 5-mans. So, we could have the choice to not take those and we can spend more talent points elsewhere. If you don't agree with this, you can go and take Holy Word Sanctify, but I just want to point out you have the option to not take spells if you don't want to. So one interesting interaction is this new capstone Lightweaver in Dragonflight. This is supposed to replace the Flash Concentration Legendary. So it says Flash Heal reduces the cast time of your next heal by 20 seconds by 30%. And increases its healing done by 15%. So this, how Flash Concentration works now is you got to build it up, and then you can just kind of maintain this buff, this super flash or this super regular heal. But in Dragonflight, it's more like a flash heal will buff your next heal, and you can stack it up to 2 times. So you're more weaving flash heals and heals in instead of just casting 5 flash heals and then having a super heal for 30 seconds that you just have to throw 1 flash heal in every once in a while to get another 30 seconds rolling. But the fun thing is Lightweaver and Flash Concentration stack. They work together. Check it out. Casting flash heals, we're building up stacks of Flash Concentration. But we do have the Lightweaver buff too, so let's get it up to 5 stacks. And then you can go a really, really juicy heal. And then you just have to keep it up. So now, in 5-mans, we can have Flash Concentration and Lightweaver together. I think it was just a fun interaction. Now, in a more raiding build, let me load it up here. I don't think we're going to take Light Weaver. We can still wear Flash Concentration. The left side of the tree is not going to change much. You just probably won't take the Shadow Word Death Talents. But I think the new capstone we can mess around with is Divine Words. Increase the effectiveness of your next holy word, Serenity, Sanctify, or Chastise by 50% and give it a divine favor for 15 seconds. And the one that is awesome in raids is when you Sanctify, you bless the target area, healing up to 6 allies for 1200 over 6 seconds. You basically have a grounded healing effect now. Now, of course, I didn't set this up beforehand, so let me throw the spells on my bars. Divine Word, Holy Word Sanctify. So, we hit this, we do our big heal, and it just adds a ground effect, a ground healing effect. Suck at Druids and Resto Shaman with your healing rains and efflorescence. Priest used to have this way back in Mista Pandaria, a spell like this. I'm just happy it's coming back. And usually in raids, Sanctify can be a really big group heal. So every minute, supercharging a Sanctify so it heals for 50% more and then leaves behind a patch on the ground that heals, I think is going to be the way to go for Holy Priest. So now let's go over to Resto Shaman. Now, one thing I do want to point out, come the pre-patch, once you leave a Shadowlands zone, your conduits, your legendary abilities, your like Covenant stuff, your Soulbinds, don't work no more. Because now they only work in Shadowlands. So that's how they're going to turn off when you level up in Dragonflight. Basically, when you leave the Shadowlands, all the Shadowlands stuff doesn't follow you. I actually was testing my priest in Dollarand first, and I realized that my legendaries were turned off, and all the Covenant abilities were turned off. But let's check out Resto Shaman. One nice thing about the Resto Shaman tree is you have Gust of Wind. If you come all the way down here, which is a nice movement ability. Once again, I didn't plan ahead and didn't put it on my bar, but Gust of Wind, where are you? Throw it on our bar here. And this is what it does. Whew. This gives Resto Shaman a little bit of movement ability on a low actually, I think I have it talented to be a 20-second cooldown. So on a 20-second cooldown, hey, if you're standing in bad, you can just hit the button, jump right out. Other than that, on the clash tree, if you're in a 5-man dungeon, you just kind of have to pick and choose what utility you need at the top. Probably always want Windshield, but do you want Capacitor Totem? Do you need a Purge, or do you need Tremor Totem? Do you need Spirit Walker's Grace? You don't need to take Earth Elemental because the conduit's still active. That's another reason why I skip Swirling Currents down here, because I don't think it stacks with the conduit. Let's actually test that out in real time. So this says it increases them by 13%. So let's just, once again, did not set things up ahead of time. Where are you, Cloudburst Totem? Alright. Alright, so we got the 37 more effectiveness from my with 37% more effectiveness from this. My conduit. Let's see what happens when I stack the talent on top of it. We have 2 buffs that stack. Now it actually went down. Now it says only 25% more. That's no good. Don't take the talent. The conduit's more powerful. So yeah, that's the only reason why I skipped this talent. In Dragonflight, we're going to want that talent because it kind of replicates, it's basically the conduit. But in a 5-man, you probably don't need Mana Spring Totem, but I wanted to come down here to take Ancestral Guidance for the next 10 seconds. 25% of your damage and healing is converted into healing. Up to 3 nearby injured party raid members. This is a decent 2-minute cooldown. We also have Nature Swiftness, your next healing or damaging nature spell. It's instant cast and costs no mana. The most used spells you'll use this on: Chain Lightning to throw out an instant cast Chain Lightning, instant cast Chain Heal, or an instant cast Healing Rain. Now, my 5-man build, I just did not take Healing Rain at all. I skipped it. I came all the way down and took Ascendance because Ascendance is a awesome cooldown in a 5-man Mythic Plus environment. But interesting, we can also get a point to get Primordial Wave, so we can have Primordial Wave on top of having Vesper Totem, because that's you would want to be carrying in a 5-man environment. So this is the first instance that we can have 2 Covenant abilities. Now, in a raid setting, the left side of the tree is not really going to change that much, just what utility you think you need for a raid up here. Mana Tide or Mana Spring could actually be good in a raid to give your healer some mana. Now we take Healing Rain plus the Overflowing Shores. Healing Rain instantly restores 1,300 health to all allies in its areas, and its radius is increased. In raids, we're always slamming down Healing Rain, basically on cooldown if people are going to stand in it. I think in a raid, we're going to want to slip by over here and take Wellspring, because Wellspring was always so awesome in raids. And we can still sneak over and get Primordial Wave, so we can have Primordial Wave, and I would run Venthyr in raid, so you can have Chain Harvest and Primordial Wave, because why not? We can have 2 Covenant spells at the same time. Though one thing I do want to point out was Resto Shaman that does kind of suck is, where is it? This doesn't show the cooldown in here. Let me see it in the spell book. I was just trying to point out that Cloudburst Totem has a higher cooldown in the live version. 15 seconds. Why doesn't this tell me the cooldown? I believe it's 45 seconds now instead of 30 seconds. I don't know why the tooltip is not telling me. I just want to point it out that it's 45 seconds base now. We can have this talent over here that reduces it by 4 seconds to make it 41 seconds. And then there's the talent, where is it over here? Consuming Tidal Waves reduces the cooldown of Cloudburst, Healing Tide, Mana Tide by 0.5 seconds. So, we might be able to get it down from 41 seconds to maybe something like 36, 37 seconds. I do want to point out, though, that Cloudburst Totem is nerfed come the pre-patch. But now, the most fun class I think we can do is Resto Druid. Mainly because, at least in a 5-man environment, we can pick up 2 Covenant abilities in the class tree. Plus have a third one for being our Covenant. So we can go real nuts with Resto Druid once this finally loads. Oh no, been disconnected. So let's see what I got set up here. I have my raid build up first. So let's talk about the raid build. I think if you're in a raid as Resto Druid, you want to stay. You want to stay Night Fae, so you can have Convoked Spirits, and then you can pick up Tree of Life in the talent tree. Um, Between 5-mans and the raid environment, and raid talents, the druid side of the tree is not going to change much. I think you're going to go down this side, slip down here to get reduce all damage taken by 6%, and get a little bit more survivability by going down this line. You can pick up a couple points here to gain 4% of a stat. If you're not in a form, your regular non-form is your healing form. It will give you 4% haste. We can pick up Nature's Visual, which is a new cooldown for us. For 30 seconds, all single target healing. Also damages the nearby enemy target for 20% of the healing done. So if you know you're going to throw out a big burst of healing, you can also click this. It's off the global cooldown, so you can just squeeze it in there without losing a GCD. Once you know you're going to do big healing, you can also throw out some free damage too. Like I said, I think in Raid you want to stay Night Fade to have Convoke and still have Tree of Life, which is kind of like how we play now. But in 5-mans, we can get real interesting. Like I said, the left side of the tree didn't change much, but the right side we can have some fun with. We could take Circle of Life and Death, Convoke the Spirits, Adaptive Swarm, and have the talent point that makes it a 60% chance to split, which, playing in beta, you cast one Adaptive Swarm, and by the end of it, there's just Adaptive Swarms everywhere. We can also pick up Flourish. So, then we can also be Kyrian and have the Kyrian spell too, so we can bond with someone and empower it every minute. And then we can also have a legendary on top of it. And I don't even know what legendary you would want to run on top of all this. We already are fitting Circle of Life and Death in, so we don't even want to wear that legendary. I don't even know what legendary you would want to wear then on top of this. Where is it? Where I can check out legendaries. Adventure guides. Why doesn't it tell me what they are? We're going to run Verdant Infusion so we can extend all our hots with Swiftman. I think if Dark Titan's Lessons, the double life bloom, we can do the double life bloom. We can get real fun with Resto Druid. Resto Druid's living the dream, at least in 5-mans. We could have 3 Covenant abilities at the same time. So that's my video. I just wanted to show off three specs and the fun they can have in the pre-patch. So I just want to hear from you guys. What kind of fun shenanigans are you going to come up with in the Dragonflight pre-patch, mixing together both the talent trees and the Covenant and the legendaries? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you in the pre-patch.